Hello everyone. So this is the next video lesson of the module 4, and in this video lesson we will continue the topic coherency. Okay, so as we know that the coherency is the very essential property for the sustained interference. The light must be monochromatic. This is the one condition, and another condition is the two light sources must be coherent. Okay, so coherency is the two light sources are said to be coherent if they are emitting light of same wavelength or same frequency such that the originating phase difference between them is either zero or has a fixed constant value. So there are two light sources S1 and S2, and they are producing the light wave, and if there is a zero phase difference between S1 and S2 at all the time and at all the distances from the source and screen, then the light sources S1 and S2 are said to be coherent. So as we know that the coherency and the monochromaticity is the ideal term. Practically there are so many deviations from this ideal situation. We know that no light source can be a true monochromatic, and similarly there are some foundations, there are some limitations on the coherency of the light. Okay, so in the previous lecture we discussed the types of the coherency. One is the temporal coherency, another is the spatial coherency. Okay, so let's discuss some other concept on the coherency in this video lecture. Okay, so let's discuss the origin of the light. Okay, so in a light source, photon is emitted when the excited atom goes to the ground state through the atomic transition. So this is the ground level, this is the excited level E1 and E2, and initially the atom is at ground level. Okay, so it absorbs some energy from the external source, and this atom migrate to the excited state. So the excited state is the temporary state, and very soon it return back to the ground state. Okay, so when the atom return back to the ground state, it emit photons. Okay, so the lifetime of this excited state is about 10 to power minus 8 to 10 to power minus 10 second. Then the duration of this transition is about 10 to power minus 8 second. Therefore, the emitted wave remain sinusoidal for this much time. This time is known as the coherence time. Okay, the definite phase relationship is maintained for a certain length known as the coherence length LC, and the coherence length and coherence time, they are related to each other by this simple relation: speed is equal to distance over time. Okay, so here this is the light pulse coming from any light source. Okay, you can see that this is the light source, and the light pulse is propagating in this direction. So this light pulse has some noise at this point, and you can observe that the light is coherent between this point to this point, and then after at this point to this point. So this length of the wave is known as the coherence length. Okay, so coherence length is the length up to which a certain wave maintain its coherency is known as the coherence length, and the time taken to travel between these 2 points is known as the coherence time. Okay, so for the neon lamp and the sodium lamp and the cadmium lamp, all these are the monochromatic light sources. wavelength are given here. The coherence length is about 30 centimeter. Okay, so after 30 centimeter propagation of the light pulse, there is some noise or there is some violation from the coherency, and also the coherence time is about 10 power minus 8 to 10 power minus 10 second. However, for the laser, the coherence length is about 3 kilometer. Okay, so here you can say that the laser is much more coherent than the other conventional light sources, because here the light pulse maintain its coherency for a very long distance, and it is also coherent for all the time. Okay, so this is the coherency. Now, condition for interference. What are the conditions for sustained interference? So first condition is single frequency. The two or more light sources must be have the single frequency and the same phase difference. So single frequency is known as the monochromaticity and the same phase difference is known as the coherency. The second condition is the two or more light sources must have the same state of polarization. Okay, so either they are UPL, PPL, CPL, EPL, left-handed, right-handed. So whatever the state of polarization, but it must be same for all the light sources. Okay, so another condition is the amplitude should be equal or nearly equal to each other. And the last condition is the sources. Okay, the single source must produce one real or one its virtual source, or two virtual sources, or one virtual and its image. So two different light sources cannot produce a sustained interference pattern. Okay, so this is the very important question. Why two light sources cannot produce a sustained interference pattern? The two different light sources can never be coherent light sources. Okay, so we know that two light sources are said to be coherent if they are emitting light of same wavelength or same frequency such that the originating phase difference between them is either zero or has a fixed constant value. Now, the two identical and independent sodium lamps or any conventional lamp can never be coherent. Okay, in a light source, the light is produced by billion of atoms under the proper excitation condition, and each atom acts independently of the other atom. It means that there is a random phase between the emitted light and consequently no coherency between the light emitted by the different atoms. Okay, the phase difference between the light rays from the two sources will not remain constant with the time. Thus, it is clear that the two independent light sources cannot be the coherent light sources. However, we can make two coherent sources by the one single light source. Okay, so how to obtain the coherent sources? There are two methods. One is the by division of wavefront, another is the by the division of amplitude. Okay, so there are several methods to produce the coherent light sources, and there are several methods to produce the interference pattern. For example, Young's double slit method, Fresnel bipring. These two are the example of division of wavefront. Okay, similarly, there is another method, Fresnel double mirror method, Lloyd's mirror method, thin film, Newton's ring, interferometer, two beam interferometer, multi-beam interferometer belongs to the division of amplitude. By division of wavefront method, we divide the wavefront of the light by using lens or mirror, and the divided part emerges in the medium and reaches to the screen and create the interference pattern. However, in the division of amplitude method, we divide the amplitude of the light source, of the light coming from the source, by the help of reflection and refraction, and the divided amplitude emerges in the medium in the same line, and then after they produce the interference pattern on the screen. Okay, so these are the two methods for the production of the coherent sources, and also these are the two types of interference. One is the division of wavefront and another is the division of amplitude. Okay, here let's see, this is the Young's double slit arrangement. In this arrangement we divide the wavefront of the light. Okay, this is the Fresnel biprim. There are two virtual sources. This is the original source, and by this source we create two virtual sources. Here we put the biprim. Biprim is a device made by the Fresnel, and the obtuse angle is about 179. However, the two acute angles are of half degree and half degree, and in this way we produce the interference pattern on the screen. Okay, so this is the Fresnel double mirror method. There are two mirrors inclined almost at 180 degree, and we produce two virtual light sources S1 and S2, and on screen we create the interference pattern. So this is the Fresnel double mirror method, and this method belongs to the division of wavefront. Now see here, this is the Lloyd's mirror method. Here the light is reflected by the mirror, and we create one real source and one virtual source by the help of reflection, and interference pattern is obtained on the screen. So this is another method to produce the coherent light sources and hence the interference. Now see, this is the another method. This is the parallel thin film method. This is the thin film. This is the soft film. Okay, so this is the original light source. The lights coming from the source reflect and refract by the thin film and emerges in the same medium. Okay, so this is the these two are the reflected component, these two are the transmitted component. S1 and S2 act as the virtual sources for the observer viewing the light ray 1 and 2, and therefore interference pattern is created both in the reflected light and in the transmitted light. Okay, so this is the another method. This is the wedge shaped thin film. The thin film at some inclination, and we divide the amplitude in this method. Okay, and create the interference pattern and obtain the coherent sources. Point B and D are the virtual sources for the observer. Okay, however A is the real source. So this is the another method, Newton's ring. So all these three methods, that means thin film, parallel thin film, inclined thin film and Newton ring, all these three methods is the part of our syllabus, and we will discuss these methods in detail in our coming video lesson. Thank you.